Talk, a voice on the line I hear, coming through Geocache Talk.
Embark on a breathtaking 12-night journey through Scandinavia with the Worldwide Cache Cruise, starting from the enchanting city of Amsterdam. With the Worldwide Cache Cruise, we are not just taking a vacation. We are geocaching and collecting experiences that will last a lifetime.
A stunning symbol of adventure, community, and storytelling. Its bold design shines with vibrant colors and a cool retro look. It's more than just a coin. It's a badge of geocaching passion. You can be part of the journey by supporting Geocache Talk on Patreon. Your patronage helps create inspiring shows, grow the community, and keep the adventure going. Join the network at patreon.com/geocache talk.
Have you subscribed to FTF Magazine yet? FTF Magazine is the #1 geocaching magazine available. It is a quarterly magazine that you can be part of. Subscribing is easy. Just visit FTF's website, ftfgeo.com. Don't miss out and subscribe today.
Calling all geocachers. At artedcrafted.com, we create unique apparel designed by geocachers for geocachers. From custom t-shirts to personalized mugs, our gear lets you express your passion. Stand out at your next event with artedcrafted.com. artedcrafted.com. Gear up for your next geocaching adventure.
All right. Big thanks to our new patrons, Hada25, Waymaker Jan, Rob S72, Lost and Found 28, returning patron, the Geocaching Ninja, We Dog 1, and
Awesome guy.
Angel Bandit. And our featured patrons tonight are Gary, not me, Duppy, Ashley, Mudak, and David. Those are our California patrons. Thanks to all our patrons for keeping the show and all our shows on the air. I need to put my thing up just a touch. There we go. So wonderful. We got a great show tonight. Let's bring in the crew and our guests right now. There they are. Hey, everybody.
Howdy.
So, Jesse, part of Memphis Mafia.
Yeah, I'm actually in Memphis, the namesake. Where I found my first cache is right down the street.
Oh, no way. That's cool.
It's an LPC that still has no favorite points, but that's okay. We'll move on from that.
No favorite points. Come on. What? I mean, look.
I know. I thought about going back and giving it one just because it was my first cache, but I was like, I'll wait till somebody else gives it one.
Okay.
You need to at least write a note in that cache for sentimental sake,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
You know, I would, except for I've talked so much crap over the years. I don't want anybody associated.
That's awesome. And then John, the Pizza Ninja.
Yeah, great to be here, man. I'm excited. I even put one of my favorite EarthCaches in the background on this horseshoe turn on this one.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Yeah.
So tonight we're doing EarthCaches. We got John with us, All.Things.EarthCache. Thanks for joining us, John.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Oh, absolutely. We're excited. When I heard about the talk that you gave, we talked about this before the show, that you gave at Gigastock, I was like, oh man, we need him on. We need to talk about this. So thank you so much. We're going to have a lot of fun tonight. We do have a couple quick items for our news. So let's start with that.
Oh man,
John, take it away, sir.
Yeah. So in news on this one, guys, I don't know if you know, and if you're anything like me, it's like blowing my mind that it's July 20th right now. Like where did the time go? You know, but just to think, if you're considering putting together a submission for GIF, the Geocaching International Film Festival for 2025, the deadline is August 1st, 2025. So that's coming up quick. But one of the things is, if you're thinking about doing it, the film length can be anywhere, guys, from like 1 minute to 4 minutes. So, you know, you don't need to create this multiple like Titanic-esque like production on here. You can even put something together for just a minute. So I don't know about you guys, but I'm excited for GIF this year. And And in the past years, it was a highlight, of my year, just watching gift films with people. So we just wanted to put that out there. Also go ahead, Gary.
I was gonna say real quick, that's a great thing. It reminds me of when Jesse and I were in Tyler. We got to the GIF reel on a drive-in theater screen.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That
was awesome.
That's the way to watch it if you can.
Yeah, with 60 of your closest friends, that's always great, right?
Perfect. All right, yeah, go for it. Rest of it, John. You're good.
Yeah, in the news too, we mentioned it last week, but International Geocaching Day, the Hider souvenir is out there.
Cool.
So to do that, geocachers must have a non-event geocache published between July 15th and August 25th. And Adventure Labs don't count. Sorry, guys. I know some people love Adventure Labs, but they don't count for this either. And I don't know about you guys, but I actually earned my souvenir already on this one.
Ooh.
And I earned this one. Very relevant for tonight's show. What did I publish? I got published in EarthCache, guys.
Oh my gosh.
Very nice.
So I
Hey, doesn't even count. There you go.
Yeah. So, I mean, how amazing is that? So, so that was cool on that one. But I mean, just to get it out there, because I mean, with it already being like July 20th, and I mean, August around the corner, and people's vacation schedules, don't miss this opportunity to get this really cool souvenir on that one. Because remember on this one too, if you're going to submit it, try to get your geocache in within 7 days beforehand to get that published.
Yeah,
so you don't miss out. Because could you imagine if you submitted something like right before the deadline, but it didn't publish until after the date and you didn't get that souvenir? I mean, what a bummer that would be.
Yeah, and this is a better souvenir than most, in my opinion, to get. Other than countries, don't take those, or states. A hider souvenir, I think, is more valuable than finding or anything else, because everybody finds, but not everybody hides. So
yeah. Well, and I just got to put it out there too. If people go for hider souvenirs like this is encouraging HQ to reward hiders.
Absolutely.
So if they do this, who knows what they would do in the future to reward hiders. So definitely something to think about. But switching over to Cache Odyssey, guys, I don't know if you saw this one. We're actually almost at 4,000 favorite points.
Oh, that's crazy. 4,000.
It's just crazy. Like I checked right before the show, and it's at 3,989. And the way people are finding these, I'm sure next time it's probably updated. It's going to be above 4,000 favorite points.
That's a lot of favorite
I have
points.
to tell you, that's because of me, because I added 3 favorite points to that list this week. Thank you very much.
Good job.
No,
I pushed it over the top. I pushed it close.
Yeah, you did. Good job.
Yeah.
So another quick item on that too is that we mentioned before about Poan finished off 50. You want me to keep going on that one, John, a little bit?
Yeah. I mean, we got to talk more about that one, because I mean, Poan,
that's amazing,
just incredible.
Well, and the cool thing is that another pull back the curtain moment I think is really cool. She wants to do a pizza party, which again, if you get all 50, we'll throw you a pizza party. And here's the cool thing though. She's going to do a pizza party with Sharknado. I call him Sharknado. It's Fernando, his Lacey, and their little daughter, who's 2 years old, about to be 3. I think she's about to be 3 years old. But she is the hider for Cache Odyssey Hawaii. And so what a perfect way to celebrate.
Oh yeah.
That is so cool.
Basically throwing a party for Cache Odyssey Hawaii folks. They're going to be in Georgia for that. So
she also gets a souvenir that most people will never earn.
Yeah, that's a souvenir.
And she's the first one and the only one on the whole planet that has it right now.
Yep. Nobody else.
That's driving crazy, don't you? You know who's dying about that?
Retired guy?
Yes. Retired guy is like the souvenir champion of the world, and he does not. She has one that he does not have.
That's right.
My God.
He's got to do some work.
And she was the first one to see that.
Yep.
Out of the team.
Nobody's seen it before her, besides us. Nobody's seen it before her.
Yeah.
They didn't really know it existed even. Just it only existed in theory before that.
That's right. Nobody had seen it. John did a great job of getting that artwork prepared. We went, he and I kind of not we didn't argue, but we went back and forth on trying to figure out what do we want. I mean, what's going to encompass Cache Odyssey United States?
yeah.
And so, we went back and forth, and John came up with a great idea, and it does look tremendous, but can't see it unless
how many? So that souvenir, only one person on the whole planet has it.
Yep.
How many other souvenirs do you think only one person has?
Oh gosh, that's a good question.
I bet there's not any other ones besides that one.
You're probably right. I mean, what else would it be?
I don't know.
Oh wow. Is there one to go to the International Space Station? I mean, there probably isn't a souvenir for that.
Why would you make one for that? Right.
Right. Why would you?
Yeah. But that's the one. But before we stop talking about Poan, I have to say that as we kind of shooting into like caching for the week too. Yeah. She's not only the finder of all 50. Now, Christy and I on a road trip. We're going to see family. We got 3 Cache Odysseys this week. South Carolina, which was awesome. Don't get me wrong. And then Georgia and Tennessee. So we had an argument about which one of those was our favorite cache of all time. Christy is leaning towards Super Nate's cache, the Cache Odyssey, which is in Chattanooga, Tennessee. And I can't tell you why that puts it over the top because it might ruin something about the cache. I'm leaning towards Poan's, and I messaged her. I was like, this is the best cache I've ever found.
Yeah.
This is the coolest. The pictures are out there, so everybody knows it's a rocket. It's not a secret. That is the coolest cache I've ever found.
That's cool.
Like, I was trying to think of what one ties with it. It's the cool. I love it. Everything about it, like how you pull up to it, accessibility of it, just the thought that went into it.
Yep.
So I just want to make sure we also appreciate the fact that not only she find all 50,
she made one that's great.
She hid one of the favorite caches I've ever found out of I don't even know how many we found, 14,000 something. That is at the top of my favorite caches of all time. And I love everything about it. And I won't say everything because it spoils stuff, right? For the people that haven't found it or whatever. But not only the thing, but how she put it together, it's awesome. Just so awesome. She would be cool just for that cache. Not only find a 50, but just for putting that one out. Like, I'm amazed. It makes it hard to find other caches when you found 3 Cache Odysseys in 2 days.
Right.
Really makes it
hard.
You're finding
Jesse.
Just spill the beans.
No, I guess you didn't spill the beans.
I didn't spill any beans. No, it is. They're so far leaps and bounds above other caches.
Yeah, it's been great.
We found some other caches in the last couple of days that were good caches in a normal week. They were good caches, but they were so blown away.
Yep.
By those 3 that you're like, I'm just gonna move on. So you don't want to be like that because not every cache can be amazing, right? That's not fair. But I just wanted to, while we're talking about Poan, I just wanted to give her the shout out for that moved to the top of the list of my favorite caches of all time for the cache itself. Now I've been to some beautiful places, but just for the cache itself, oh my gosh, everybody should go find it.
Well, bottom line is, I mean, like everybody who was a hider was pretty much an all-star hider of this one.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, yeah.
And I mean, in Poan, Super Nate, a whole bunch of people took this stuff next level. Yeah.
So quick update too on that, because people are asking, and I wanted to let people know now. Also, I want to try to get out posted. If somebody wants to post, if they're in the Wisconsin group, the Cache Odyssey Wisconsin will be live probably. It will be sometime this week, before West Bend comes around. It's going to go live. It's going to be incredible. I'm not going to spill any beans on it right now, but I was blown away by what they said they were going to do, have permission to do from HQ, also have permission from the property owner. That one is going to be on the list of, and I appreciate Happy Hodag got it going. And he's had some bad luck with his location, so he was willing to give that up and let somebody else take a crack at it. And so it'll be in the Milwaukee area. Just let people know if they're planning. It should be available soon. Like I said, this week it should be ready to go. So very excited for that. And then real quick, my caching, and we get to the show going. But my caching real quick was This will sound familiar because it's going to be me quite a few times this year, and that is chasing Jasmer Loop caches.
Oh,
Which are
nice.
not they're good. They're just a mix. We if for those of us that have done Jasmer, they can be a hit and miss. You're just trying to find a cache for a certain month. It's not always available. So, but anyway.
Yeah. I hope to get one of those this week too. I'm not gonna say which one it is, but I hope to get one this week. One of the 6 that I need. Obviously, the 6th one
less
is
than
gonna
I
be
do.
next summer. But one of the 6 that I need, I should be able to get this week, and I'm super excited about that.
Oh
I got
man.
way too many 2001s that I'm chasing. But anyway, John, do you have a quick update, and we're gonna get going?
Oh man. So my caching for the week, guys. My first cache for the week, LPC. You know,
Now you're talking.
I just got to be honest, but it was a convenience one, right? We
yeah.
we pulled into a gas station, and I don't know about you guys, but it's like if I park a car, I open up the app. Like I can't be alone on that one, right?
No. We do too.
Yeah.
all
I
been
think we all do, and I did. And there's like an LPC right nearby, and I'm like, I got to do it. No, nothing's right there, right? So nobody's there. I can get that easy. So we got that easy. And John, after this one, we went and we got an EarthCache at this really cool lighthouse.
There you
go. So there you go. Published an EarthCache, found an EarthCache same week right before the show. So
yeah,
that is awesome.
Yeah,
that is awesome.
good.
So we got John with us tonight. I guess let's start, John, before we kind of get into all that, is give us some background. Tell us a little about yourself, and then also how you kind of got started with your channel and with All Things EarthCache.
Yeah, absolutely. So I first started geocaching out in Yuma, Arizona, and I think if I remember correctly, I read about it in a newspaper, and I had younger kids at the time, and so it was like, oh, this is kind of like a treasure hunt. Let's go, and downloaded the app, pulled in, found that there was one right down the street from us. So the kids enjoyed it. We did a couple more. You got to be careful with the heat in the summertime. But the bug kind of didn't really stick. Fast forward a couple years, and I had no idea that there was a mega out in Yuma of all places as well. So that was a disappointment later on for me. I was in the Marine Corps at the time, got stationed in here in Columbus, where I'm still at now, Columbus, Georgia, and had brother come out, and we went out one night. It was New Year's Eve, and just really had a good time. It was me, my brother, my wife, kids, and we just went out like overnight, New Year's, then found a couple on New Year's Day, and then the bug really kind of stuck, if you will, because I just kind of reconnected with it. Found my first EarthCache out here in Columbus. It was a fall line EarthCache, and it was kind of like, all right, these are okay. All right, I gotta, it's the homework cache. Like, I gotta send some stuff in. What is this? I haven't done this. So I wasn't drawn toward it. But then as I did more of them, I guess they spoke to me. They I started connecting with them, and then I was like, all right, well, now I'm interested in writing one, and found another geocacher that on his profile page, I think I had found one of his EarthCaches. He had put, hey, if you ever want to, put one out and you need some help, let me know. So I contacted him. I was like,
cool.
Man, I'm new. I don't know what to do. And he was like, hey, bro, check it out. And he sent me all kinds of resources. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, if I had spent 5 minutes on the internet, I could have found this all myself. So after I started writing a handful, going caching used to be right up the road in Rome, Georgia. And reached out to the organizers, and it was like, hey, do you guys mind if I teach a class? They're like, yeah, that's fine. Come on out. So I had been teaching the class for the last couple of years. Cool. And then of course, the last going caching was last year, unfortunately. And it was one of those things like, from a channel perspective, I just kind of thought myself a couple months out, like I really wanted to continue doing this. And so, with zero experience with a YouTube channel and filming and everything else, it was like, let's just go and push and push and push. And, put all my classes online by the time that we had that final going caching, and, away it went really at the end of the day. Cause before I put the classes out there, it was one of those things like, there's no resources out here, on the internet, really. I know I had been to other megas where they might have had the class, but there was really no, besides those, there was not a single resource besides the GSA and the geocaching headquarters with the guidelines. But it's a little bit more, if you're just reading that and trying to create one off of those, it can be a bit challenging sometimes. So it's easier to have somebody go like, hey man, if you need help, like just reach out. Like I'm happy to support your efforts, because at the end of the day, like I just want more quality earth caches out there for me to find as well as for everybody else.
Oh yeah, absolutely. John, you had kind of a personal connection, didn't you?
To what?
No, sorry. Well, yeah, we got to work this out. Right?
Yeah.
John and then
Pizza Ninja.
Yeah, either call me Pizza Ninja or just say pickle pizza before you talk.
No,
I mean, either one, Gary. So what were you thinking, Gary, on this one?
On that one. So I'll just call you the Ninja.
Yeah.
Did you say you caught up with John's channel, right? Did you? Is that yours?
Yeah, both Jesse and I did, and
yeah.
And the
actually,
thing,
it was Team Conway out of Florida.
Oh, that's right.
Was telling us about your channel, and he'd seen your talk, and he loves earth caches. He's published like 104 down here in Florida, and he was like, "Hey, y'all got to check this guy out." I'm like, "I haven't heard of that, but let me know about it." And that's how we found out. He had been to a mega. I think that, I don't know if you met him or not, but he's been to a mega and he heard you speak, and then he loves earth caches and he's big into them down here, and he's published a bunch of them. He's like, "Do you know about this?" And this is the same guy that's published over 500 events. So I see him a lot at events, and he's like, "Hey," he's always, and he watches the show and stuff. He's a really cool guy or whatever. And he was always like, "Hey, you know about this? You know about this?" And I'm like, "No, but that makes awesome show." So he's a great person for, and he's like, "Yeah, check this channel out." And that's kind of where we heard about it. And it's fascinating because, as you know, there's not, and I've been to like an EarthCache Mega, and I've been to some other things related to it. And it kind of feels like you got to like really seek out the information to find out about, like it's a closed club. Nobody's putting out a lot of information on it. And it was like pulling teeth to get into earth caches early on. The same thing with you, right? I got an earth cache. I was in Colorado, so they were everywhere, first of all. And they're beautiful. They're in beautiful locations. But nobody talked about them. Even the EarthCache Mega that was out there, like you went there and it still felt like you're supposed to be a scientist. Like it didn't feel like the average, like the homework cache, it didn't feel like it was accessible. And even like you get your EarthCache Master stuff, it's all out there and you can Google it and find it, but it's not as easy to get. So when he told me about this, and I was like, somebody's actually putting information out specifically EarthCaches, I was shocked. People do classes. They don't have a YouTube channel for that, right? Like you see classes on everything. Hell, I've taught classes on stuff before too, but last minute they're like, "Hey, can you teach a class on how to build a where I go?" And I'm like, "Well, I was going to go eat lunch, but yeah, let's do that. No problem." Nobody is teaching EarthCache classes. Nobody's doing that, right?
Yeah, it's very interesting because, like you said, my first experience, and I'll be quick on this, but is I attempted 2 earth caches and got shot down both times. So, and didn't really understand the full reason why. I mean, the reviewer, the EarthCache reviewer was very nice. He was, it wasn't, but they didn't give us a lot of information. It was like, well, you can't do that. One of them was, you can't do that anymore. I was like, okay, great. So thank you for that. But it's like, is there a list somewhere? Or is this like, how do I know not to do? That's one. And then the other one was, they said somebody else has put out, or they're in the process of putting out a cache or an earth cache for this. Turned out they never did, and I never went back to try to do it. I guess maybe I should probably do that someday. But it's like, man, this is kind of a bummer. But anyway,
but then you get frustrated, and then you're like, you know what? I'm going to wash my hands of this because this is just too hard. And it's not. You just it helps when you have somebody. I've had people like, "Hey, can you take a look at my description?" Like, absolutely, yes. Yeah. I've done enough that I can tell you, like, hey, here are going to be the sticking points. This is your description. This is your cache. Here might be some points that you might have changed, or maybe you just missed something. or like, hey man, your tasks are not going to get like this task right here. It's not going to get approved. And here's the reason why. And I saw in the comments, so post Geo Woodstock, I pushed out a Facebook post that said, hey, again, there was so much going on. If you didn't get a chance to attend the talk, or you would just simply like the information, I'm happy to. And I got just overwhelming response. And obviously, pushed it out to anybody that wanted it. And again, I saw the comments that, so MFS 911, she's out in Arkansas. So she reached out, sent her the information, and then within a handful of weeks of working with her, she's now a platinum EarthCache master. She sent me in her initial write-up, and I was like, hey, I think you've actually got 3, not just 1, but you've got 3 potential lessons here. But she submitted it anyway. It got approved. And then she talked to the reviewer and was like, hey, I want to kind of pull it back. And he was like, yes, you probably have 3, not just 1, but 3 different lessons. So yes, let's go ahead and redo that. So it's always kind of interesting and fun. And I actually love it when other people get their, not just their initial EarthCache, but anytime they get an EarthCache published and I get to help, like, that's awesome for them. And I get a little feel good inside because I got to help them. But it was awesome that not just one, but that's one of 2 folks that just within the last 6 weeks been able to go from writing 0 to platinum EarthCache master. Another gal, Cody Hollow Farm in Maryland, like just crushing it.
Cool. Real quick note, and then John, I'm gonna let you do some of your notes there, buddy. But we are highlighting questions. I just want to remind people that please put your questions in the chat room. We do love them.
We will get to them.
We put a star by them, and we'll sort of go back through them as we go. Some of them we'll do during, when your question comes up, but others we're going to get to as we go. But anyway, over to you, my buddy. Go ahead, Mr. Pizza Ninja.
Yeah. So one of the things I really got to ask about this one, because the one thing from really tuning into your channel that I really love is just your passion, enthusiasm for EarthCaches, because I think that just really drives the point home. And I know sometimes when you're reading the descriptions through, I'm like, man, if John's voice, if there could be an audio, like here's this EarthCache, I want to listen to this.
Let me write that down.
That would just make the experience so much more just amazing. But yeah, I was just wondering if you could talk more about kind of your passion, your interest in geology, and really onto that one, where things came together, for you. And then when you talk to other people, how does that kind of come together too?
Because you obviously have to be a geologist and a scientist to be into EarthCaches. So tell us how you got there.
So I will say, 1, I'm not a geologist. 2, I'm not a reviewer, right? I'm just a guy that enjoys EarthCaches, and where it came from. I've always kind of liked rocks to a degree. From a geology standpoint, I think there's too much math for me. So I would probably be a very poor geologist. I think the thing that kind of brought it all together, I was going to a conference outside of DC, and I had arrived early and went into DC and just walked for hours around finding virtuals and finding EarthCaches and going into the Smithsonian where there were still a couple of indoor EarthCaches at the time, and just really this is this is it. I am enjoying doing this, and that kind of again led to everything else. And it's almost one of those things, if you have a passion for something, that's most certainly gonna come out as you're talking to other people, whatever your passion is. If somebody starts to ask questions all right, I'm not gonna let you go, you're gonna have to physically probably remove me away before we're done,
right?
And so everybody's got their thing, and it just seems that I have clicked with EarthCaches, and they are my thing. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Very cool.
I love it. It's funny what clicks for people. And we talk about this a lot. People get into the weirdest stuff in geocaching. Saying you're a geocacher really does not describe it, right? Because your geocaching and John's geocaching and Gary's and mine are all completely different.
That's true.
And somebody you resonate with EarthCaches, and you so much so that you're helping other people do it. But somebody else may be where it goes, or
County
Maltese, which not me, by the way, Maltese, but it may be any part of you. Like we talk, I'm not making fun of it, but waymarking, people like that, and they're really into it. And for you, it just happened to be earth caching, but you're not just into it, you're helping other people, that's what's kind of cool about it, right? Like, you want to see other people put out earth caches. And I personally think everybody should earn their platinum earth cache master. Everybody should put out 3 earth caches. Everybody, and you can do it. Now, sometimes you need help, like you're talking about. But
if you want to write one, man, I'm here to help at the end of the day.
That's awesome.
And it can be like, all right, now you're gonna have to do the work, right? I'm not gonna write it. I was gonna tell folks, like, you're gonna have to do the work. You're gonna have to do the research. I can help you along the way. You get to do the heavy lifting. I'm like the spotter. I'm stuck. Like, all right, well, come on, we can work through this. The encourager.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah,
I love that.
Perfect. Yeah. And I like it. I know John and I were talking before the show too, because it's just like, I don't know. It seems like there's so many groups for people out there to get help with things, but earth caches, it just seems like there really hasn't been anything like that. So, I mean, that's pretty awesome to help the community out and just saying, hey, you're there to help, because I mean,
he's right.
I always thought, again, going caching, it was like, is anybody going to show up at this talk? Like, and invariably there would be 12 to 15, maybe 20 folks, and then the same thing at Geo Woodstock. And it was funny because I kind of like at the last going caching, I had ambassadors and people that were on the committee attend my last class at going caching, and I could hear them discussing and talking, and I kind of clued in on them, and I kind of just put my foot in the door. I was like, hey, you guys know I can teach this up at Geo Woodstock as well. And they were like, really? And I was like, well, yeah, I mean, would absolutely love to do that. Same thing with Bamarama down here in Alabama. It was like they had many of the committee members, and I was like, if this is something that you're interested, then I am interested in doing it for you and for the community. It's not like I'm getting anything out of it besides the joy of helping others at the end of the day, and helping them write their earth caches and having those earth caches out there for the community at the end of the day. So yeah, it was interesting with the Geo Woodstock. I just kind of put my foot in the door and kind of barged in. It was like, hey, let's do this. Why not? And had a tremendous, over 50 folks showed up. So I was, again, am I going to get anybody? And all of a sudden people started filtering in. It was like, okay, I guess I have a class. Let's go.
Well, it shows how much there is an interest in earth caches. And I hear from many, many people like, I'll never be able to get one done, right? Like, and a lot of them are scared of the earth cache reviewers, which is, by the way, totally ridiculous.
No, they're great.
Yeah.
It shows that I think people in general want to publish them and find them. They're just a little intimidated by it, the whole process in general.
So I start out my class with roadblocks. Like, hey, here are some common roadblocks that are preventing you from even starting. Like, oh, I'm not a geologist. Like, all right, there's like 45,000 earth caches worldwide. Some of them have been created by geologists, but the vast majority have not. Therefore, you may need some assistance in like, hey, here's some resources. Here's how you can get started. But it's not as hard. It's not as challenging as the first one may be. The first one might be like, oh man, this is, what's going on? But once you get it down, but I think the first thing is the roadblocks. And then part of my class is just really there to also demystify, as I like to say, the whole guidelines.
That's the thing.
Like, let's just break it down step by step. You got to do this, and then you got to do this. And there's no one way to write an earth cache. I just have some steps that's like, I've been successful with using these steps, and here you go. Like, if you're interested, if you have desire, and if you need some help, like here I am. Just let me know.
Yeah, I think the other thing too that really helps, John, with what you're doing also with this is that people, I don't think outside the box enough about the potential for earth caches. People, it's like anything. If you find an LPC, your thinking is, well, I can hide an LPC. But when if they find one earth cache, they're like, oh, well, I can't do that because I don't have that situation around my house, where I live. I mean, obviously you can do them in other parts of the world. I mean, Jesse's a good example of learning how to EarthCache in French, but
Yeah.
but still, I think the idea though is no matter where you live, the situation though is that people don't think enough. I think they don't think enough outside the box. You know what I mean? As far as like, oh, that can be an EarthCache. Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Jesse, I think it's like when you were talking earlier about your wife showed you this park and there's this rock there. I think once you start to write a couple and now you know what you're doing, you're going to see things. It's almost like an EarthCache sense comes alive.
Yes.
And you're going to see something be like, why isn't there an EarthCache here? Like, whoa, hang on a second. Like I can create one. It's just noticing at the end of the day or at the beginning of the day, maybe.
Well, it's geosenses. Like, when you start geocaching, you see something, and every time you see something, it's brand new, right? Like your first bolt, or you didn't know. Nobody knew before they started geocaching that lampposts lift up. Or if you did, you're a weirdo. Who would know that, right?
You're a weirdo.
But but you start developing a sense of like, well, that's out of place, and that's out of place. And I see this. I think this is the same thing with EarthCaches, right? Like the one we were talking about before the show, that on my road trip this week, my wife mentioned that one. It's full circle for me. The very first one I found is exactly like the one the first EarthCache I found is exactly like the one I want to publish now because she found that part.
Oh, wow.
So it's full circle all the way. That was the very first EarthCache I found, and it was an amazing one in Garden of the Gods in Colorado. And I've always wanted to make one just like that. We just happened to be driving down the road, and there's a park with a formation just like, I'm like, are you kidding me? But I may not have ever thought about that without having seen a couple first, but it's those geosenses, right? You're going, oh, and even if you don't know, you're like, that may be something. I may not even understand it, but let's take some pictures and look at the area. Let's learn about it. And it may not be anything, but it also may be something that you can go back and check on.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. That's something too, I think, John, that people need to sort of keep their, like Jesse said, keep their geosenses aware and think about, I mean, at the very least, like you said, take some pictures, talk to people like yourself that be like, is there something here? Is this kind of doable? Or is this already been done too many times? I mean, there's some things that you got to think about when you're thinking about posting or publishing an EarthCache. So, is there certain things too that you suggest to people to start doing when they're out and about?
So it's funny that when I get to the portion where I teach about how do you get your lesson, how do you get your location, the very first thing is like, hey, just be observant to the things around you, and start to. I have a question. Why is this like that? I think when you develop that kind of mindset, if you can answer that question, that's your lesson. That's the topic of your lesson right there. And I'm not a scientist, but I think they go through that as well. Like, hey, why is this happening like that? So you see something and you go, why is this like that? And then becomes the tougher part of, especially as non-geologists, to go like, okay, how do I figure that out? And again, there are a ton of different resources out there to leverage. So while it feels challenging, at the same time, like, what's always funny is like, I'll get folks that will send a picture of a rock to me and be like, hey, is this? I'm like, not a geologist. Like, I'm happy to help you out where I can, but like, I got lucky once. Somebody in California, and this geocacher had like 20 some odd EarthCaches to their credit. Was like, they showed me a rock, and I was like, the only thing I could think of is weathering. And I said, hey, here's some weathering ones that I did. Yeah. He was like, oh, that's perfect. And he turned it into, but that was a one-off. If you send me a picture of a rock, most likely I'm not going to be able to identify said rock. But that's
it's not magic.
Observant. Yeah. Being observant is a key thing.
Yes. So that's perfect, because I want to hit one of the questions. It's exactly what you just said. So Flowers 22 says, I have coordinates and an idea for one. I want the hider souvenir this month. I've waited until after tonight to start the approval process. So for somebody that has an idea like that, or they see something, so let's say I'm driving down the road, like the one I saw. I see something, I'm like, this seems like it's something. I've taken a bunch of pictures, checked coordinates. Maybe I've even, gone ahead and checked to see that I can put one there, What do you suggest to somebody that's like, kind of think this is something, but I don't know by myself? What would their next step be?
So first of all, you're gonna have to check to make sure that you can get permission to do it. That's a key thing, and depending on who you are, you may try to get your permission later on. I'm a proponent of like, get your permission early and often, because if you can't get permission, you're not like, it may be a beautiful spot, it's gonna be perfect, man. You got your task, and you're like, I know what's going on here. But if you can't get permission, then you're dead in the water to begin with. And many times I like to tell folks, especially if they're starting out, gravitate towards the national park or your state park system, your park system, because it's easier to find the right person sometimes to go, okay, can I do this, as well as to get that permission, get the permission, as well as like, hey, I found this thing, do you know what that is? Well, I don't, but hey, I have a contact with the state geologist. Like, cool. All right. So let's put me in touch with somebody that, of authority, if you will, that can help me figure out why is this like that. So,
what do you think about them reaching out to other, and I always say beta test everything, right? Like caches, but would you suggest that they reach out to other people in their area that have published Earth caches, or like to ask for help? Because I would assume most people that have published Earth caches want them out there.
Oh yeah.
And I'm sure there's Facebook groups and everything else too, right? But it seems like you could reach out to other Earth cache hiders in the area, and they would probably help you.
I have never heard of an instance where it's like somebody reaching out to like another geocacher, especially in an instance like placing an Earth cache and saying like, hey, can you give me some assistance or guidance, and them saying no. I would be absolutely stunned to hear that. I have only personally experienced other folks willing to help me, and again, I pay that absolutely back and willing to help other folks. So that is another good resource, is if you have some of those prolific Earth cache writers that have been through the process a number of times. Hey, maybe we can make a connection, and you can give me some, a leg up or some advice on how to do this. I would be stunned for somebody to come back and say like, yeah, they told me no.
So we like to put people on the spot. So because it's a show.
Yeah.
Would you be okay with people emailing you if they had a question?
And it happens. So from that, I've had like cold calls where I don't know where people have gotten my information, but they've sent me an email. Like the one in California, it's like, how did you get my?
Yeah.
Like, okay, hey, I've got a photo of a rock. Like, all right, let's go from here. That's what I do is help other people. So if anybody, and what's always been interesting, especially since Geo Woodstock and that infamous Facebook post, if you will, folks from Australia, folks from United Kingdom, folks from, I had one from Portugal that sent my stuff out, and then he kind of translated it into Portuguese and has since given his own talk and has been invited for a second talk. And now is helping, like 2 people have asked him for help. And it's like, it's just the ripples in the wave that go out from, my small little pebble of helping folks. So yes, absolutely. Anybody can reach out to me.
How would somebody contact you?
So the All.Things.EarthCache, it's both, a name I cache under, as well as my email address, just @gmail.com. Or if you go to go to YouTube and just type that in, it's going to pull up my channel for you.
Okay. And we'll make sure we have all these in the show notes as well. But I will warn you, I hope you know what you're getting into, because I offered the same thing many, many years ago for Where I Goes, and I still get them today, and it's been probably a decade. And I have built probably 70 plus Where I Goes for other people, or helped them through it. I don't even do them that much anymore, but when you offer that out there, people will, and it's awesome, right? You wouldn't do that if you didn't have a passion for it, which you do, obviously, right? You're helping people, but it does come in. The requests do come in, and it's almost, and you tell me what you think, but I've helped people with Where I Goes and some other cache types over the years or whatever. It's almost more satisfying to help somebody else and see them get one published than it is for myself. And Plus, you can only have so many things out there, right? You can only maintain so many things, but
Is
it's
this
awesome
is this
to see
correct? By
somebody
the way,
go from,
I'm sorry.
I can't do it to, oh
Yeah.
my gosh, I got one.
Just will double check. So okay, all.things.EarthCache for our audio listeners at Gmail. So there you go. I just want to make sure.
And hope you're passionate. You're going to get some now.
Oh, man.
The great thing
and I
is
love
that with YouTube or Zoom and Teams, like if your group wants to have that, want me to present the class remotely, like I did it successfully in for a group, beta tested it with a friend of mine in West Virginia, and now again because of Geo Woodstock, a made connection with somebody out in Australia, and next month I'm going to be teaching it, live from my home here to a group of folks in Australia. So
nice.
I'm happy to teach the class as well. And I think that's a little bit more interactive, right? The classes are out there and it's great that the videos are there, but it doesn't really allow for questions because those are going to come up. And of course, if you watch the videos and you have questions, happy to answer them if possible. But at the same time, like, hey, I got a question. Like, yeah, what do you got? Let's knock this out right now so that we can continue on. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, I love you guys' commitment because it's funny as you're talking about that and people contacting you. I was thinking like how many people view these things as mission impossible, to get like a Where I Go to get an EarthCache published. And I just wanted to give a shout out to my EarthCache reviewer because I know, and I think I've mentioned it in the past before on the show, like I've always heard EarthCaches were so hard to do. And I know on each EarthCache I submitted, I got feedback from my reviewer within 24 to 48 hours.
Oh, yeah.
Great comments. And then when I resubmitted it, it was pretty much another 24 to 48 hours to get further review on that. And in some ways, I'm like, man, this is so much quicker and better feedback than when I submit some other caches. So I know to me, I found that feedback just to be incredibly helpful. But John, how would you encourage people to interact with their reviewers for EarthCaches?
So I would argue that they are absolutely a resource. And like you said, I try to keep an open line of communication with a variety of the reviewers, both in Canada, the 2 in the US. So there's more than 2 in the US, but Aware 9 and Aware 10, as well as the one out in New Zealand and Australia. That way I can kind of keep current, or if I have questions, I can reach out to them and get a good answer. So I'm not telling people bad information. They're probably going to get slammed here fairly soon with the Purge and people trying to recreate some of those. And in talking to them, yes, they give themselves a 7-day window to respond. But I typically have seen responses within 24 hours as well. Like I'll submit one at night, and by noon the next day, like it's published. Now, again, obviously, if there's a challenge or something, they're going to kick it back to you. But yeah, I would use them as a resource if possible. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, thank you, John. And John, could you tell us a little bit more about this Purge that you just mentioned on this for EarthCaches?
Yeah. So the Purge is headquarters' effort to kind of clean up the game board, according to them. They did it for the first time last year, and really it comes down to if you have a cache owner that has been inactive for more than 5 years, then they're gonna disable it for 30 days to try to give you an opportunity, because not just because you've been inactive for 5 years doesn't mean that you're not still taking a look. And then after 30 years, they're going, or 30 days, they're going to archive it. So they started it last year, and we lost a ton. I think it was around 700. And then we weren't sure if this was going to be a one-time thing or not. And then in the EarthCache forum on the forum pages, one of the reviewers said, hey, it looks like it's going to happen again. So we're definitely not losing as many as we did last year. We are losing a ton in California. It looks like around 160 to 170. I ran the numbers a couple of days ago, but it's Terry Dad 2 had, I think, 173 that were still active in California, Utah, and Arizona. And so all of those have been currently disabled, and it looks like we're going to be, those will all be archived. What's been really promising, though, is I've seen on Facebook, like, hey, who can take Death Valley? Hey, I'll take those.
Oh, cool.
I saw a I saw a Facebook post where somebody was like, I would love to do one, but I'm not sure how to do it. And I was like, here you go. Hey man, I'm here to help. So the community is reacting to the purge, and I was kind of ambivalent about it. Like, oh man, can you imagine if they tried to do that with, say, like virtuals? But I do understand and the reasoning behind it, and I'm on board with it at the end of the day.
Yeah. I am 100% in agreement, and I say purge more. There's such trash. There's so many trashy things out there that should be updated. Part of the geocaching, whether it's EarthCache or anything else, somebody has to maintain and be in contact with that cache for it to be a viable activity. You can't just publish something and leave it.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like EarthCaches do, but EarthCaches do change, and you lose access to an area.
Yeah.
Geology still changes, even though it doesn't seem like it does. It changes. Wildfires, floods, everything happens. You can't just put it out there and leave it. And EarthCaches are not immune to it. And I'm a big proponent of zombie caches need to be deleted. And I understand there's some histories, some historic ones in there that should be protected, but then somebody has to watch these things. And EarthCaches shouldn't be immune from this, because you could be sending somebody out there to an unsafe situation, and that should not ever happen.
Well, the other thing too is that permissions, we talked about
permissions before. Change. Yeah.
Permissions can change. And, it's one thing, again, I don't know, for the purge, I can see where if it's a zombie cache, but not only that, but there'll be times when it's like, maybe even contact HQ and say, hey, we're not allowing people to go to this particular location anymore. It's blocked off for for nature reasons or whatever. And so, I mean, those kind of need to go away as well.
Yeah. Hey, John,
some of those older ones, they may have been based off of the older guidelines. So it was okay to use an information sign back then. And now that sign is gone, and you show up and go, what do I do? So this is why I've kind of come across or come along to like, okay, no, this is a good thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, John, do you know if there's like, for anybody, because I'll admit this, I've actually adopted my first EarthCache. It was one that somebody had back in like 2007, and they were like, hey, I'm getting out of the game, does anybody want these? And I'm like, man, an EarthCache from 2007 at a very cool location here. Yeah, of course I'll adopt it. That would be an honor to do. Are you finding any opportunities for people to adopt some of these caches?
So that can be tough, only because the owner has to be the one to adopt it out to somebody else. I can't just go like for Terry Dad 2's like, hey, I am happy to adopt all 173. Like if the owner was still active and they wanted to adopt it out, geocaching.com or headquarters won't just simply take it from somebody, even if they're inactive, and give it to somebody else. That's a policy that they have that they're not wavering from.
Yeah.
Well, and I get that too, because if they're inactive, that means they probably haven't checked on the permissions in a long time. And, and not only that, and I published a few EarthCaches myself, but when I was talking to people to get them published, they really wanted to check on like, okay, this is an area, where would people walk to get here? Because we don't want people going into this area. So that changes over time, because footpath wears things out, right? So we all know geotrails. Well, over time, they may not any longer want people to go a certain way to see a certain spot. Sure. So it does need to be, if you have EarthCache, you should check with them frequently and make sure like this is creating a geotrail that we don't want in a national park. So I understand, like, and because they encourage vacation EarthCaches and things like that, HQ does, and it's even written into the rules, guidelines or whatever, that's great. But you still need to stay in contact with people to make sure it's still okay to be there.
Yes. Yeah.
People forget. They don't even know. The person that gave you permission may have left. They don't even know that you're doing that anymore. And all of a sudden they're like, why is this new trail being blazed? Which Pizza Ninja John would be very cognizant about, right? Like he's involved with trails. You don't want people going off trails and messing something up. So EarthCaches have, you still, just because you publish an EarthCache doesn't mean it's like fire and forget. You have to stay involved in that.
Yeah. So we got a few questions. I think we'll go through and then we'll kind of pick.
Yeah, there's some good questions in here.
So let me do a few. Phil has a comment. He said, just recently earned his master level master level, platinum level. It's the platinum level.
Wow!
EarthCache.
Congratulations, Phil.
Yes. Good job.
Very cool.
Awesome.
Everybody should do that.
Yeah, I love that. Quincy says, I have the perfect natural feature in my area for an EarthCache. Hope tonight helps me out. So, speaking of something like this, though, John, how would you approach something like that? Other than in permission, we know that, but from that, where do you go try to research the location more, or do you try to find? I mean, do you try to find an EarthCache that matches it? I mean, what are some of the things? I know we talked some of them, but what's sort of the next step you think?
So the reviewers will probably shoot me for this. I'm okay with, like, if I'm going to do like a sandstone one, are there other sandstone EarthCaches out there? I don't want to copy paste it, but
Right.
maybe I can see the resources that they use. And if I know it's sandstone, then that's a little bit easier because, again, the internet and YouTube, right? There's everything on YouTube or podcasts. Right. There's all kinds of information that is out there. But I also kind of argue in my class or kind of propose in my class, like, go make friends. Go make friends of university professors and say, hey, this is what I'm trying to do. Can you help me? I did that super successfully years ago with my local college. Ended up being, hey, do you want to come sit in on my geology 101 class? And I had the opportunity. I was like, nice. Yeah, I want to go sit in on your geology 101 class. But the local, so there's the Geological Society of America. Many states have their own geological societies as well. So again, hey, I'm trying to do this.
Very cool.
Can you guys propose any locations? Now you got to be kind of careful because, again, they've got to meet the wickets of can geocachers get there and can I get permission? Things like that. But you start asking somebody for help and it's their passion, like they're more than likely, I imagine, going to say yes, absolutely. How can we help? Yeah, again, I got this rock, go to a geologist. I got this rock. What is it? So from a natural feature perspective, I think research really becomes, when you're trying to do it, I hate to say raw like that, but that can become kind of tough. I'm a huge proponent of like the roadside geology books or, look at if your state parks, like Georgia's got a number of state parks with field guides. The National Park System has a great website with many, if not all, of at least their main locations and the geology features of those locations. And it's like, guys, there's your location, there's your lesson. You go talk to a park ranger and see if they can get you the permission and or at least starts you on the path. It becomes tough when, like, hey, I saw a rock. Like, ooh, okay.
Right.
Now what?
Now what?
Find somebody that can kind of help you identify said rock or feature. But again, if you have found an EarthCache that is similar to that, like I know the guidelines talk about a unique feature. Like, okay, there's not a whole lot of unique features, if you will. So I'm a fan of like, okay, maybe I can borrow elements from another one, not just simply cut and paste, but borrow elements and inspire me to create this one.
Exactly. Yep. So we had one other question, which was from Rui. It says, John, there seems to exist some ambiguity in terms of photo requirements. Can you discuss that?
Okay, so first of all, shout out to this gentleman because this is my guy in Portugal.
Yay!
That went from hey, hey, can I have your material to now he's given his own talk. He's been invited back for another talk, and he's helping 2 folks. So that's absolutely good job. From a photo perspective, headquarters changed the requirement back, I think, in 2019, where before you had to make it optional. Now you can make it required. The only caveat is that you can't require somebody to have their face in it. I can have my rock without a personal token or whatever, but you can require to have photos, and I'm kind of a fan of that because that gives me that even if you've messed up your logging tasks or they're not exactly perfect, I know you've been at ground zero.
Right. That's very good. Thank you for that.
Well, I think that's important because, like we discussed beforehand, some people are intimidated by EarthCaches and they'll send in a message. I'm sure you've gotten these. I don't think I understood it, and they'll literally DNF an EarthCache, and you're like, no, that's not how that works. And I assume from our conversation, you're the same way. You want to help people find your EarthCaches.
Yeah.
That photo helps me understand, at least, like they were there. They may not have understand it, but it's not a couch log from Sweden somewhere. These people were actually there at the location, and they may not have quite understood it, but I believe that we can get to a place where they can claim this EarthCache. What's your kind of feeling on? Because here's the other thing I will say, and we talked about this beforehand, but everybody that listens to the show knows my wife hates EarthCaches. But she hates them because she's gotten some negative feedback when she tried to submit some, not submit to publish one, but to submit some answers to claim one before. And some of the people were not very nice about saying that she misunderstood some of the questions or whatever else. And that can really burn people, and they can get like scared to do them again. How do you approach that?
I'm a fan of, are you doing a good faith effort to find it? Again, if your answers are not 100%, you're not a geologist. I'm not a geologist. Yes, I've done my research, and I can probably tell you more about potholes and streams than the average bear. But again, not a geologist. So I tend to make I'm very formulaic when it comes to creating my tasks. I at least have, I typically go with about 4, maybe 5. The first 2 are going to be based typically off of my description. So that kind of forces you, requires you to read the description. And then the other 2 are going to be based off of ground zero. And the requirement now is, observation and analysis. So you've learned your lesson, hopefully, by reading the description. You go to ground zero, and now we're going to put that lesson into play. And then I have my 5th one is the photo requirement. But if you've given me a good faith effort, like the only time I've ever deleted somebody's log is when I don't receive answers at all. Or if I see a DNF, the first thing, and Jesse, I think you were the same way. I'll look to see how many they have found. When I see that, like, this is probably their first EarthCache, I don't want to crush their spirit.
Yeah.
And so hey, an EarthCache is there's no container there, because I think they're expecting to see a container where there simply is not one.
Right.
And that's why I've started putting at the top of my descriptions, like, an EarthCache is, has no container. You're going to go to the location. The goal is for you to learn about, like in this case, potholes. You're going to go see some, I want you to read the description, go out to ground zero, and, you're going to observe and provide a bit of analysis. And this isn't PhD level analysis. An EarthCache is supposed to be written at the 8th grade level. And that's really hard from the ones that I've read over time. And I look at a lot of EarthCaches, like that's a really tough bar to meet. But it doesn't mean that your tasks, the logging tasks, can't be, they shouldn't be the PhD. Or if they are, then you had better have a corresponding difficulty level at that point. Like, you want to make it a 4.5, cool, got it. Like, I'll probably kind of avoid 4.5s or see what they're looking for. I'm like, I don't know if I want to attempt to this one. But I think, again, at the end of the day, if you give me a good faith effort, I'm gonna be okay with it.
Cool. We're kind of starting to get toward the end now. I went quick. John would definitely want to have you come back at some point in the future to talk more, and maybe more if we get into. Tonight was really good. We might get into some specifics next time if we want to do that.
Well, I want to hear about how your channel
caches all day long, right?
Yeah. Well, good.
Well,
love that.
We'll talk geocaching. That's great. We love it. Go ahead, John.
More than just EarthCaches, we want to hear about as it goes forward, and then I'll lead to the next question. But how your effort to help other people is continuing to grow, right? Obviously, your channel is going to grow and things like that, but we want to hear how that's helping, because we love that, right? The fact that you're helping people. We always say all the time, like, we all get so much out of this game, it's ridiculous, but not everybody wants to give back to the game, and you're doing something to give back, and I think that's. It's very. Thanks for chatting for this. I think the videos with EarthCache, they are helpful, absolutely. And if you haven't checked out the channel, obviously people go check out this channel. But I think tying into that, in one of the videos, you said every EarthCache starts with curiosity, and I love that. Right? Like, can you kind of tell us what you meant by that? Because I think that's really the crux of what we're talking about tonight.
Did I say that? Did I say that in the video?
Yeah, it's a great quote, man. I love it. You got to take credit for that, man.
I think it goes back to the question of, why is this like that? that's where the curiosity is going to stem from. You come up on, I think you're referring to the Alhambra Rock. That's a vacation earth cache that I put together. And I was out there with my parents, and I had never been to that location before. I'd been out to Valley of the Gods and Monument Valley a couple times before, but never to that state park. And go out there, and I'm looking off in the distance, and I can see how Alhambra Rock, and I was like,
yeah,
wait, this is all sedimentary rock. Like what is that out there? And then I did some research, and it's a volcanic piece that is more resistant than the sedimentary rock. And it was like, well, cool. Why is this like that? And again, for me, when I'm going to earth caches, as I train people, or when I go out and review or explore, like that's the piece I'm looking for, is why is this thing, this feature or this process, why is it like that? And that just spurs the curiosity.
That's awesome. Yeah. Your buddy in Portugal, right?
Yes.
Oh, says also, John, regarding distance between similar themes, what are themes in geology? How much plasticity can we assume on different themes in terms of geology?
So that's an interesting question. And when I was teaching the class at Bamarama, I had somebody show up, Siphon, great guy. And I knew him by name only because I had seen a number of his earth caches. And we started talking about how, normal geocaches, traditional caches, they have to be within, outside of 1/10 of a mile of one another. And you don't have to have that with earth caches. You can have them as many, a number within, a certain distance. Yeah. And he was like, hey, that's not necessarily true. I was like, what do you mean? Like I'm going off of the guidelines. He indicated that the reviewers told him that you can't have two similar topics within about an hour's drive of one another. And I was like, I've never seen that. I've never heard that, but I'm not saying you don't know what you're talking about, but I went, as soon as it was over, I reached out to Aware 9, the reviewer in the southern half. And I was like, hey man, I heard this from somebody that showed my class, like what's going on? He was like, yes, that goes off of the unique aspect guideline, if you will, that we want you to have a bit of distance in between topics of a similar nature. So going back to like sandstone, you can have one on sandstone about like how sandstone is formed. I can still create one within an hour's drive on, say, ripples or prospect. Yeah. Because I did that. I helped create one up at GeoWoods outside of Morganton. And I was looking around, I was like, okay, there's a ton already here. What am I going to do? And then I saw that there was in one of the state parks, there was some sandstone that cross bedding. I was like, there I go. Okay, now I've got my lesson, and it got approved. It got published. So that's the only, from a topic proximity, if you will. That's a rule. It's not necessarily spelled out in the guidelines, but it'll get kicked back if you have a similar nature.
How awesome would it be if you go to submit a cache and they're like, dude, we already have an LBC in this city. You need one an hour away. That would be awesome, right? Yeah. EarthCache is the only thing that, one, makes you actually get permission, and two, we already have this cache here. Move that to the next town or whatever. That would never happen any other part of geocaching, would it?
Absolutely.
No. What was the one too? What was the one? And John, you might remember, or Jesse would, but it was like in the Minnesota area, and it was like, oh gosh, like when you get when the Ice Age ended and you get all the
talking glacial erratics, Gary?
Yeah, glacial erratics, yeah.
Remember how there was a time when, and I guess
they're like, stop submitting these.
Right. Yes, well, it makes sense. It fits in that category. It's like, if you can't give me a new erratic theme, or like you said, then we got plenty. We don't need any more.
Well, yeah. And that's awesome, because it keeps it fresh. It keeps it different. And like John said, like, you can still have something about sandstone, just give a different lesson. Sandstone is not one thing. There's a million things, there's all kinds of things that you can do with it. It's kind of cool in that respect that it's going to be different and fresh. Now, you go from state to state, you're going to see the same thing in another state or whatever. But in the same area, you shouldn't see two next to each other that they're exact same.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You're not going to have a power trail of the exact same topic.
EarthCache Power Trail, Jesse? Is that what you're saying?
There you go. That's right. Hey, first
Nice.
of all,
Love the idea.
depending on how you define power trail, you can do a lot of EarthCache in one area because, as John could tell us a lot about, one location could give you a couple lessons. There's different things that are happening there.
Just like the one in Arkansas, where she found, it was basically the Arkansas's, little Grand Canyon. And she showed it to me and it was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. She's like, yeah, I already got permission. So what should I do? And I was like, okay, well, what about, started throwing out some ideas. And again, GSA even says like one EarthCache should be one lesson. And we see it all the time where folks will just cram multiple lessons. And it's like, all right, you don't have to do that. It's okay to have one EarthCache, one lesson. You don't have to have just this description that goes on and on and on. If you look at the one I did in Alhambra Rock, that was actually a bit of a challenge because I couldn't find a whole lot of information. So typically where I might have several paragraphs, I think I had like 2, and I was like, okay, I have enough here, but I'm a little nervous because typically I have more meat on the bone for that one.
Well, we're kind of getting to the end. Let's take a moment and let's just kind of go around the room and give some final thoughts on this episode. And again,
because we're going to talk to you again, John. There's no doubt. There's too much information.
We got a lot more to do, but John, thank you again. Go ahead.
I want to ask a question because I could ask a million questions because this is just a fascinating topic for me. But so this is EarthCache related, but it's really more your channel and your effort that I want to ask about. Where do you see only your channel and your topics and your effort going in the future? Like obviously you want to see EarthCaches grow and all that other stuff, but where would you like to see your efforts go in the future?
So I'm a fan, again, going back to like the Pebble creating these huge waves. I'm a fan of teaching in as many different locations as I can. So again, I've got Australia booked, if you will, next month. I've got Fall Fest, the mega up just outside of or south of Ontario coming up that I'm super excited about. I'm trying to kind of weasel is probably the wrong word. Like if I can get my foot in the door with Geo Woodstock again, if they have another person lined up to teach the talk, awesome, perfect. If they need somebody, like I'm available. And so I'm trying to get an inroad to speak with them. And I'm already kind of booked, if you will, for Bamarama. And again, from the technology is available. It's out there, both from not just my videos, but if you want an interactive remote, lesson presentation, like absolutely, I am happy to, I enjoy making the videos, and it makes me laugh because I was talking to my wife, like, I'm doing all this stuff. When am I going to get to make, put together my videos? But that's a core piece. But at the same time, the more I get to teach other folks about creating that creates those ripple effects where, like, I can spend a lot of time and I can create one in Georgia, one in Alabama, or I can teach one person that's going to create, 3, 4, 5, 10. And so it's just, that's more, right. The outreach is just exponential from just me just sitting in my house here at Columbus creating them. So focusing, huge focus is trying to help others create them. Another thing that I'm doing, and I've never seen this before, and it was an idea from a subscriber. Hey, if you want to do a remote with a group, let me know. And this person was like, well, why don't you just do it on, like a live stream? And I was like, what?
Whoa, what a great idea.
Why didn't I think of that? So I was supposed to do that before last week, and again, family emergency came up. So I think I have knocked it out or scheduled it. So this is a Geocache Talk scoop, if you will. Where did I am scheduling it for August. Where is it? It's somewhere around here. 1 second. August. Oh, of course I can't find it August 16th at 4 p.m. I'll do a live stream. And it's one of those things where, like, I'm going to try to do them like probably twice a year at least. And I know, like, maybe the first or second time I'll get like one person or two people, and that's fine. I'm happy to teach to 1 or 2 people, but I know over time, as the word kind of spreads, more people will
Very cool.
become subscribers, or tell their friends, like, hey man, there's this guy that if you want to create one, he's happy to help you out. Oh, and he's doing a live stream class as well.
That's
Again, it's just leveraging the technology that we have available to us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
John, what about you?
Hold on, wait. I got one more. So
no, you're done.
I know I can talk all night
You're
long.
done, John.
No,
Jesse's going to turn this into a 24-hour podcast.
I know. Jesse,
no. Gary's the one that tries to make them 8 hours long. So, as a final thought, and it's EarthCache related, but it's more your channel related, I want to tell everybody to go, and we don't even have time to get into it, so I'm not going to talk about it, but to go watch the video about your how you set your goals for what you're trying to do for the year. I love that video, and because it's very similar to stuff we talked about before, and it applies to this as well. If you're trying to tackle something, you eat the elephant one bite at a time or whatever, that video is very good for geocaching and how you're setting your goals to do positive things. It's not just like I want to find 500 caches a month. You have some goals that you set, and you kind of go through and update, which I think is cool because the accountability piece. But I want to tell everybody to go watch that video, even if EarthCache is not your thing yet. That may help you a lot in geocaching. I really love the way you did that one. So, and then I'll stop. I'll shut up after that. Go ahead. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, so I mean, I just got to say thank you. It's like for me, it's funny. It's like prior to this year, I never really got an EarthCache put out there. I heard from so many people that EarthCaches were the hardest type to get published, and I really appreciate everything that you're doing, because I think there's so many EarthCache myths out there that people believe and put up barriers as to why they can't do that. And I love what you said, John, like earlier, is like once you see it, you kind of start to think about things in a different way.
Right.
I know the rabbit hole I went down the other week was on the Glacial Lake Iroquois, and analyzing topographical maps.
Wow.
And then, asking the question, in the house that I grew up, was it actually on the old shoreline of the old ancient, Glacial Lake Iroquois? And I don't even want to tell you how much time I spent on that. And speaking of goals, I was like, okay, I'm moving this to my fall folder for things I'm going to do in the fall.
Yep.
With other kind of like EarthCache ideas to incubate. But I just want to give a shout out to what you're doing, because I think that's big. That's huge for the community to have someone like yourself, standing out there and saying, if you have any questions, come out here. Because I think especially for all these like purged EarthCaches, I mean, a lot of these were created by prolific EarthCache writers that people created so many of. And I don't know about you, but when the first purge happened, like I looked at my map and I was like, oh my God, like this is crazy. How many are no longer out there?
Yeah.
And I know, like, even I'm like, well, okay, where I grew up, I'm going to make it a goal to get like a couple more EarthCaches in the county where I grew up. Because I think there's only maybe like one or two, to tell you the truth.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, for that community out there in that county where I grew up, it's like they should have so many more, out there. But yeah, like Jesse, man, I'm looking forward to having you come back on the show, John, because I know so many great questions and so many other things I'd love to dive into. But yeah, thank you for all you're doing for the community, man. I just really appreciate it.
I echo what John's saying, the Pizza Ninja, because it's so important. So what are your thoughts, John, as we wrap up tonight? What would you like to wrap up with?
It's always kind of really interesting about connections, if you will. Like again, a year ago, prepping for going caching, I would have never thought. I was very happy just teaching at going caching. I would never thought about kind of expanding out. And it's always kind of amazing now, like so many interactions. I don't know where they're going to lead, and it's a year ago I would have not thought that I was going to be teaching in a mega in Canada, or to a class out in Australia, or be on your show. Like I was okay, my little lane. So it's just been really amazing from the community writ large, and how accepting. I mean, I get it, right? EarthCaches is that you kind of almost love them or hate them, but it's just been really amazing, the outreach and the embracing of this this topic. And again, I'm happy to talk about it for hours and hours and hours. But thank you all for having me on the show, because at the end of the day, this might inspire somebody else to reach out and then create, or like, hey, why don't you come? Yep. Hey, why don't you come talk to our group? Like, yeah, absolutely,
absolutely.
Let's do that. And then how many geocaches? And I did a really poor job of tracking how many EarthCaches like I inspired or helped create because of the lesson. Right, all of the work is on the person, but now I've done a far better job. And again, now Arkansas, I've got 3 that I helped. Again, Francis, who is MFS 11, she 911, she was the one that did it all. Again, I just had one in Australia that like, hey, can you look at my write-up? Like, yeah, absolutely. Hey, here's some things you need to tighten up. And now I've helped create one in Australia. So again, who knows where this interaction will lead, and it's actually kind of all exciting and just kind of taking it all in. So happy to help where I can. So you can always again reach out to me at all.things.earthcache on the messenger center, or at Gmail, or again if you reach out on the YouTube. So it's all tied to all.earthcache or all.things.earthcache.
Perfect. You can well, thank you so much. And John, do you have anything for upcoming shows you want to mention, or?
Yeah, so stay tuned.
Sorry.
No. But I think it's a good question for you too, John.
Yeah, but if you've got something, go for it.
Yeah, so stay tuned on Tuesday, guys. We got some information coming out on Geocache Talk. It's going to be an awesome show on that one. So we'll get that out ASAP on that front. Stay tuned. And I'll toss it over to John, All.Things.EarthCache, for any shows or any big events you want to plug coming up.
So I've got, again, the live stream coming up next month. I haven't put that out officially besides you all. So again, you guys got the scoop. And again, I'm so backlogged right now with the videos the raw videos that I have from being Bamarama back in February, as well as from Geo Woodstock. There's amazing EarthCaches along the way, and took the time as much as possible to do a variety of states and a variety of different EarthCaches as well, to kind of keep it fresh and kind of keep it interesting. So, and at the same time, those initial 3 by taking my class and breaking it up into 3 videos, like that was my first attempt, and I'm looking back at it, I'm going like, wow, I can do better. And after, 9 months now of learning and growing skills, it's like, okay, I need to update these classes. So a number of things coming up in the future for me.
Very cool. All right. Well, thanks so much. What are you gonna say, Jesse?
No, I love it. I think just continue to do it. I can promise you, when we look back on our first 9 years ago episodes, they are not good. They're just not. I mean, nothing against Gary, but his whiteboard in the background and handwritten stuff, we had a lot of room to grow.
Rolling,
so
at least.
You're doing awesome. Keep continuing to grow. You'll see it explode as more people realize what you're doing. And it's one of those things. Once you put your name out there, people are going to reach out to you and ask for help. So be prepared for it.
Yeah, no, that's okay. I'm here to help.
All right. Well, thanks, everybody. And we'll see you next time. Good night, everybody.
Okay, take care, everybody.
May your finds be many and your DNFs be few. May the terrain and difficulty both be less than 2. And whatever it is you're looking for, may it find its way to you. And may we all meet again.
Folks, we hope you've enjoyed the show tonight. Please email us your comment at geocachetalk@gmail.com. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. The show can be found on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Radio Public, or Spotify, as well as at the Geocache Talk website. Don't forget to click that subscribe button below and ring that bell notification so that you can see and hear the show on a weekly basis. And tell your friends about the show. Get them involved with us in the chat room. And until next week, don't just talk about geocaching, go geocaching.